Hey, as an older runner, are you keeping track of the right metrics? With all the apps and smartwatches these days, there's almost no limit to what data you can capture and measure. But what if you're missing the most important ones? In this training from our Forever Running Club, I'll go over the three most important metrics older runners should track. And the first two don't come from your watch. Welcome to episode 33 of the Forever Runner podcast. I'm your host, Herb Reeves. Let's make your running smarter so you live longer. Now, the following is a replay of my live Tuesday training in the Forever Running Club. Stay tuned as I cover the three critical metrics that matter to us older runners. Hey, good morning, runners. Welcome to our weekly Tuesday training. Today, I wanted to talk about three really critical metrics that you should be tracking. And these have to do with your overall health, not just running. So I'm going to start off real quickly. Hi, Kurt.
Hey,
I'm going to start off with the easiest one. And basically, what I'm talking about is how to measure your body fat. And you just use one of these little tapes and you put it around your waist at your belly button and measure your waist circumference in inches. And the reason why you want to do that is that your waist circumference should be less than half your height. And that's a real critical line because if your waist circumference is more than half your height in inches, then that means you're over fat and that you have a metabolic problem that you need to work on. It's a real simple test, and what happens with us runners, even where we measure ourselves and we end up being over fat. In the US population, about 70% of older Americans are over fat. And most of that obviously has to do with diet and exercise. So the critical thing is that at least do that one measurement, put a tape around your waist at your belly button, see what it is in inches, and then compare that to your height. And if your waist is more than half your height, then we need to talk. This is even more important than just doing that simple measurement. In order to really do this right, you're going to have to spend some money. The reason I bring this up is your percentage of body fat and your percentage of lean muscle mass are really critical items that you should be tracking over the years. And if you're specifically working on one, maybe it's something you track monthly. If you want to just see how you're doing, we're talking more quarterly or annually to check these out. Now, the gold standard is to go get a DEXA scan to get an accurate reading on what your lean muscle mass is and your actual body fat percentage. And of course, that's not available in a lot of places where we live, and it can be expensive to do. What I do is there's a couple different approaches you can take to get a very good reading comparable to a DEXA stand at home. And one of them is what I use a phone app. What you do is you strip down to your undies and it takes a scan of your body, and then they generate a report with your body fat, your fat mass index, fat distribution, all this. And it's fairly accurate. And being that it's an app on your phone, you can do this anytime and you can do it as many times as you want. I think the price is around $120 a year for something like this. But to get the information that's actually accurate is so important because body fat measurement, yeah, you can tell, you can use a tape measure, you can tell just by whether your pants are fitting tighter or not. But you're well aware that As we get older, we lose muscle mass. You might feel like maybe you don't look as strong as before. You might feel you're not as strong before, but without actually checking what your actual lean muscle mass is, you just don't know. So it's real critical that you at least do this once a year where you find out what your actual lean muscle mass is and track that, because it's one thing that you can control yourself by doing strength resistance training and consuming enough protein to support that strength training. And there's no reason why your muscle mass should dramatically reduce as you get older. If you're not tracking it, you just don't know. What I highly recommend is that you either do annual DEXA scans, pick up this app so you can do it as much as you want, or you can use those electronic weight scales. You stand on them and they'll give you a body fat percentage.
That's what I have, and I've been using it for years. I don't know how accurate it is compared to anything in real life, but it's accurate to itself, so I can follow my trends.
Yeah, that kind of goes with heart monitors and scales. They may not be specifically accurate, but the trends are almost more important than the actual accuracy. We're not Olympic athletes, we're not operating at that level, but the trends are really important. If you're actually going to buy one of those electronic scales, the new one is called the Hume Health. It has not only the scale at the bottom, but you have a handheld portion also. So it gives a more accurate picture of your whole body. Of course, it's more expensive, but it's a one time purchase. And there you go. And like Valerie said, then you have something you can track. And these are things you don't have to do every day. Monthly, quarterly is just fine. But real important to track your percentage of body fat and your lean muscle mass and figure out a way to do it. If you're just doing the tape around the waist and you're over fat, there's ways to fix that. We can talk about that later. The third metric that's important to follow is a real good picture or snapshot how fit you actually are. And that's your VO2 max number. As a runner, you're probably aware of VO2 max. It's basically a fairly complicated formula that combines your aerobic capacity with your weight, comes up with this number of how fit you are. And it has been shown through a lot of studies that having a high VO2 max is related to a longer health span and longevity. And most of that's because it just means that uh, you're lean and you're fit. That gives you a high number. But as runners, we don't have to go to some sports facility to be measured for this. If you have a Garmin watch and maybe the Apple Watch, they calculate that for you. And this is the classic case of, again, Valerie, when she mentioned about, I don't know how accurate it is. The calculated VO2 max on your watch or on your iPhone may not be specifically accurate. But again, this is one of those things where you want to, if it's low, you want to work on bringing it up. And if it's up, you want to keep it up there. And I can give you some numbers. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So the goal for us is to be in the 95 percentile for our age. That's where you get the biggest bang for the buck. And so for males, if you're in the 50 to 59 range, that's 48.9. In the 60 to the 69 range, that's 45.7. In the 70 to 79 point range, that's 42.1. Your VO2 max can go down as you get older, and that's okay. But if you're at the right level, you can still stay in the 95 percentile. I've been very fortunate. Last year was probably one of my worst years for running wise, as far as how much running I actually did and all that. And I was still able to maintain in the upper 95% of my VO2 max because I had that strong base. Now, for women, it's for 50 to 59, it's 41.1, 60 to 69, it's 37.9, and 70 to 79, it's 36.7. These are numbers you want to shoot for. As runners, we have the advantage because we're already partly there. We're active and we probably have a pretty good diet to go along with that. So we might be close, you might be even be close to that or there already. And again, the standard American could be way below, easily at half of that. And they would have a long ways to go to build that up. To build your VO2 max, you really have to build that aerobic base first, then add some of those high intensity workouts in order to build your VO2 max. And it, it doesn't really have to be all that much. You can do it once a week or once every 2 weeks, but get that one high intensity workout in there. And that will either maintain your existing VO2 max or build it up. So anyway, that's basically all I wanted to talk about today was the three things that you should keep an eye on long term, and that's your body fat percentage, your lean muscle mass percentage, and your VO2 max. And if you're in great shape, you can do these less often. If you've got something you need to work on, then it might be a monthly test that you need to do. Valerie, it's great to hear that you've been on that already. That's a great start.
I've been on it because I do it, but I didn't know which were the most important things. You can only, they give you all of the numbers.
Yeah,
The VO2 max is a tough one because I'm like my Garmin says that I'm in the purple, barely, but I can't get it to budge. And so
it,
we'll see. Maybe
yeah,
I just need to do more high intensity.
it takes some work, and I'll do a training specifically on that. You can work on it. And when you're close, it takes longer to get better. And if you're a couch potato, you can improve your VO2 max in a couple of months. But it's a long-term thing for us, and we'll go over that at a later date. Cool. Well, that's it for today. Kurt, did you have anything you wanted to throw in there?
No, not too much. I'm
Okay.
already. Well, my VO2 max is down to 43. I thought it was pretty low, but I guess that's still up there for 70 years old. I guess I'm right there.
Yeah.
For being out of shape, it was 51. When I first got my Garmin, it was at 51. Much, and it just recently went down to 43. And I'm like, why did that happen? I'm not sure. But and then my body fat, I'm pretty skinny. I don't ever worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, way in the wind.
I wear size 30 pants, so getting the tape measure out to measure my waist is kind of, funny.
Yeah.
I was down to 140 pounds for a while. It was probably my body fat was probably like about 2%.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a little fat now, though.
You go out to any marathon, and there's a lot of over fat runners out there. And these are people who've been running for months, working hard, training for a marathon, and they're still over fat.
So,
It's real.
harder.
Next week, I'm going to talk about shoes. So hopefully, you guys can make it for that one. And that's it for
Okay.
today. See ya.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.